this outsider art. What is the outside? Okay. Now let's go for this. Okay. Now literature exercise. Let's go understand this. First of all, the contrast the Chinese view of art with the European view with example. European, what is the difference in the Chinese art and European art? Chinese means actually it can be a part of Asia. Asian art and European art. The Chinese view of art is trying to achieve the essence of inner life and spirit. Inner life and spirit, actually not physical appearance. He is talking about the wide space in the middle space where the interaction takes place. According to him, there are actually, according to the Asian painting or Asian art, there are three main elements. तीन main element है yin, y-i-n, yin, yang, and wide place, middle place, wide place or middle place, that is called. And they are talking about the middle place where the interaction takes place. वहाँ पर interaction होती है. Yes, let's see where the interaction takes place. Okay, very less students. Komal, Nanvi, 7, 6, 8. Okay. Where the interaction takes place. जहाँ पर ये interaction होती है. This is the, and Wu Daoji's painting was the fine example. Fine example. Actually, Asian they want to achieve the essence of inner life and spirit. Actually, according to Wu Daoji painting, Wu Daoji ke painting, I think if you remember that, he has painted so many things. But there was one on the foot of that mountain, where he painted that mountain. On the foot there was a door. वहाँ पर एक cave थी and there was a door. वहाँ पर door था. And when he clapped, the door opened. When he clapped there, the door opened and he entered inside. He told that the fine spirit, that a spirit lives there in that. And it's a very beautiful, inner that cave. Cave is very beautiful and he wanted to show to the emperor, whose emperor को दिखाना चाहता था. When he entered inside, all of a sudden the door closed. उसके door बंद हो गए थे. And before the king could react anything, he could say anything, and because he was surprised totally when the door was closed. But before he could tell anything, before he could express anything, before that the painting itself disappeared from there. Once a painting disappeared, and Wu Daoji, he was a painter in 8th century. He was seen no after that. उसके बाद वो कभी भी वो Wu Daoji दिखाई नहीं दिया. This was the actually Asian painting, or you can say the Chinese painting. And in the European views, it is the create the illusionistic likeness. Illusionistic likeness means we are creating such a beautiful that even your eyes could not identify in the real or it is a painting. In reality or it is a painting. Means in painting or reality, even the eyes, they are one sort of cheating or dodging the eyes. The Quentin Metz's painting of fly. When Quentin Metz, he was a blacksmith. And I think you know the story. He fell in love with a daughter of a painter, and he was sure that painter would not accept him as son-in-law in this profession. That's why he wanted to become a painter. वो painter ही बनना चाहता था. So he painted a beautiful eyes on the latest panel. उसका जो panel लगा हुआ था board का, he painted a beautiful fly over. वहाँ पर एक beautiful fly paint कर. And even the painter, actually it can be a normal for a normal viewers or the audience. Audience के लिए it can be normal if you are unable to identify. अगर आप आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे हो whether it was a real painting or it is a real or it is a painting, अगर ये पेंटिंग है या रियल है, if you are unable to identify, that is something else. Okay, ये बिल्कुल एक अलग है. But being a painter, even he was confused. It means such a beautiful painting it was. It was so nicely that fly he painted on the latest panel, and he was so much impressed. वो इतना impressed हो गया that he was admitted as a apprentice. Apprentice means new learner, trainer rather you can say. And then finally he met his beloved, अपने beloved को उसने. The Chinese view of art is the creative illusionist. It's one sort of unreal condition, unreality. Likeness. Quentin Metz's painting of the fly was the example of this. This was the example. Now this was the contrast. Contrast means differentiate. Differentiate between European view and Chinese or Asian painting. Explain the concept of sensui. What is sensui? Concept of sensui. Sensui is a part of Chinese painting. Chinese painting, the sen and shui, these are two. Sensui means the mountain and water, both mountain and water. And then what is the quality of mountain? What is the quality of water? Which is used together to represent the world landscape. So landscape के लिए these two things are essential to represent landscape. एक landscape के दिखाने के लिए these two things are very essential. It reflects the Taoist view of the universe. Taoist view. View means path. Taoist path of universe, which include more than two elements. It means the third element, that is the void place, or you can say middle portion, middle part of the painting. What is the middle part? That is the empty space. वहाँ पर वो खाली जगह है, where the interaction takes place, जहाँ पर interaction होती है. And there are two elements which are yang, mountain को बोलते हैं yang, Y-A-N-G, yang mountain, and yin, the water. And the third element is the middle void, middle void. These are the three elements. Sometimes it may be asked to describe the what is Taoist view or what do we mean by the sensui. Sensui भी आ सकता है, separate आ सकता है, yin, yang, everything it can be. Okay, so it should be clear for you. And the third element, it means the Chinese art. There are three elements mainly mentioned. One is the yang, yin, and void place. That is the middle void place where the interaction takes place. जहाँ पर interaction होती है. This is the meaning of sensui. Now next is, what do you understand by the term outsider art or brute or raw art? Outsider art, brute means rough or raw art. Again it is brute or raw. Brute means totally uncivilized, not according to the formal rules and outsider art is the art created by artists. It means this art is created by artists who have not received any formal training. Means they can't be called artists. They cannot be given any certificate of the artist. उनको certificate नहीं. Yet they show the talent and artistic insight. Yet they are having the talent of artistic insight. उनके अंदर वो talent है, already है. But there it is not tested formally. Formally उनका according to the rules and regulations उनका test नहीं हुआ है, and they cannot be given certificate like this. Means they cannot be called artists. But still they painted, they created a beautiful painting. And art, brute or raw art is about a work of art where in their raw state was regarding their culture and artists. What is art, brute or raw? Raw means actually when it is in the raw state, not in a refined state, with regard to their cultural and artistic influence. Anything like a broken teacup means anything which is used as a wastage, when they are used as a to create any sort of art, that is brute art, or it can be raw art. Okay. Now next, untutored genius who created a paradise. Untutored, you can say, who was an untutored genius from India actually. Nation belonging to Chandigarh, actually belongs to Chandigarh. He cleared some portion of the forest and he started making the garden. उसने garden को बनाना शुरू कर दिया. He created a paradise and many years by the building a rock garden. He created a rock garden. Okay. By building rock garden. Nekchan belonged to Chandigarh and was the untutored genius. He was untutored genius. Genius means he was having a insight, artistic insight, and he did not receive any formal education, any formal training. Building the rock garden, they're using the stones and broken crockery, recycled material. All the recycled waste material he has used to create that rock garden at Chandigarh. And Nekchan contribution to the highly creative example of the raw material. उसके raw material का it was the highest example. उसका एक बहुत अच्छा example of the raw material. He is the one of the untutored genius, we call it, untutored genius. Okay. Now there are the landscape is the inner one and the spiritual and conceptual space. This is one. These are the some questions you have to. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist know the way within. Artists know the way within. It is just clear from the Taoist view. He has created, because the emperor, he was only praising whatever he was seeing on the painting. उस painting पर जो देख रहा था, all mountain, waterfall, and all these paths and hilly area, whatever he was, and he was praising that. but the artist who told that it is not the real painting. There is a third place. Actually, he has talked about there. He tried to teach about the third void place, middle place, that is middle space, where the interaction takes place. जहाँ पर वो interaction होती है. And that he told that in this cave there lives a spirit. वहाँ पर एक spirit रहती है. And he told that the spirit, he clapped his hand and the door opened and he entered inside. Before that, before the king could do anything, the door closed. Door closed, and the king was totally surprised to see that. And before he could see anything, before he could say anything, that painting itself disappeared from the wall itself. It was very surprising. It means and after that, that Udausi, the painter, he was not seen after that. Okay, he was not seen there. उसके बाद वो कभी भी दिखाई नहीं दिया. Okay, so this is all. If you got any doubt, students, you can ask. There are 13, 11. So he disappeared from and he achieved his goal. The artist or the Wu Daozi, the painter who achieved his goal, and he was no more seen after that. उसके बाद वो कभी भी दिखाई नहीं. Okay, now after that there are some words are given. It can be used in different ways. For example, panel. Panel, it can be used as a board, as a group of people, those who are discussing. This can be the meaning. Flat board, group of men was selected to give some information, to collect some information on legal. Small group of people made to decide about some matter. Decide means that these words can, this panel, this word can be used in different ways. Sections, it can be used as a sections, particular portion, a portion. Okay, next is the studio. Studio also it can be used for many this one, meaning the basic character and quality, essential part. Studio, okay, important place, and it is from the plant or the substance used for flowering. It is used for flooring. Flooring के लिए जो use किया है, this is okay. Next is the brush. It can be used for painting. Brush, the equipment which is used for painting. Brush. Brush means scratching also. By seeing also brush. Essential. Brushing, it means renewing the knowledge, updating the knowledge, like this. Essence, main item. Essence, main item. And material, it can be also used like this. Okay, raw material can be there, materialized can be there. Okay, test match materials. Okay, different type of material, important materials. It can be used in different ways. These were meanings. Now let's go for the this one for questions and answers. Again, followed by something. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. Classical Chinese, actually. Chinese are not to reproduce actual view, means whatever it is on the universe. It is not to reproduce as would Western figurative painting. Whereas figurative painting, they try to reproduce the same thing, means they try to show the reality. And whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes, look at the particular landscape exactly as he saw it. It means the European painter, he wants to borrow your eyes. He wants you to borrow his eyes so that you can see the painting, you can see the art, you can see the works as he wanted. जैसे वो चाहता है इस तरह का काम आप यहाँ पे. So it means you have to borrow the eyes of the painter. Whereas in Chinese, but the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. एक ही point नहीं है that you can see from this side, you can see. No, it is a plural viewpoint. Plural viewpoint. Okay, the European try to achieve the perfect illusionistic likeness. Illusionistic likeness means whatever you see that it is reality. The different, unable to decide, unable to differentiate the painting and the reality. Painting or reality को जो differentiate नहीं कर पाते, that is the European. Whereas Asian try to capture the essence of the inner life and spirit. Inner life, what is there? What is shown physically, that's not. But what is the inner life there? What is the spirit there? Wow, emotions kya, feeling kya. Okay, these are the now questions. We will go for some short questions and how the question will be asked. What was depicted in the last painting made by Wu Daozi? Wu Daozi ने क्या express किया? What was given in the painting? And the Chinese painter. The last painting made by Wu Daozi depicted the forest. What was there in the painting? Forest, mountains, waterfall, clouds, floating in an immense sky. Clouds, they are in the immense sky. Men on hilly paths, birds, flights, and a cave at the foot of a mountain. उस mountain पर एक cave थी, and that was the very important part of that painting. जो उसका painting था. Here it is the life and soul of the painting, and the foot, which is a supernatural being recited. Means there it was. He told that there lives a spirit, fine spirit live there. And who was Du Daoji showed the way. When Wu Daoji showed the way to the Chinese emperor, what happened? Okay, what happened after that? When he showed the way, जब उसने way दिखाया. When Wu Daoji said to the emperor, please let me show your majesty. Majesty, these are the word, honorable, respectable word the kings and those who are very prestigious or respected person. The painter entered the cave and its entrance closed behind him. Means as soon as he entered, the door closed. वहाँ से door बंद हो गई. And before surprised king could move or say anything, before he could say anything, and the painting had vanished from the wall. Vanished, disappeared. It has disappeared from the wall, and even the painter brush had disappeared. Means not a trace of the painter or his material was there after, and he could not see now in the universe. It means the painter has achieved what he wanted to achieve through the painting. अपनी painting से जो achieve करना चाहता था, he has achieved that. Okay, what do the books about the Confucius and Jiang contain, and what do they help into? The book about this Jiang contain the anecdote, small stories, which is a part of classical education in China, and that deeply reveal the spirit which are considered the days. Anecdote help the master to guide the disciples, all new learners and all in the right direction. It means they are very helpful in the teaching as a teaching material. These are the small anecdotes and all small stories and all. These are very helpful. वो बहुत ही helpful. Okay, anything, students? If you want to ask, you can ask anything. Okay, let me see. Yes, anyone wants to ask, you can ask anything. You can raise your hand. You can ask anything if you want. Yes, anyone? Otherwise, just 5 to 10 minutes, I'll ask open questions so that you can discuss if you want to say anything. What is the anecdote about the dragon's eye mentioned in the Chinese literature? Dragon eye. Why he was not trying to draw the dragon eyes? Because fear that it would fly away. ये यहाँ से उड़ जाएगी. The anecdote about the dragon is the eye mentioned in the Chinese literature. Say that painter who has painted the image of dragon, एक dragon की image उसने made the picture of a dragon and did not want to complete it by showing the dragon eyes. और उसकी eyes he did not want to paint, नहीं बनाना चाहता. The reason was that the dragon would be able to fly out of the painting. Means whatever the essence, the spirit they want to show, they are believing in that. If they are painting the eyes, it means certainly the dragon would fly from and will be attack the poet or usko attack the person. Why did the Flemish painter accepted Quentin Messi as a son-in-law? Means the painter ने उसको कैसे accept किया था? Because he painted a fly on the latest panel. And it was so beautifully painted. Even he was unable to decide whether it was a real fly or it is a painting. कि वो एक real fly थी या painting थी, he was unable to decide. वो decide नहीं कर पा रहा. Earlier, Quentin Matches was a blacksmith and who was not considered as a respectable profession. Means the blacksmith, this profession was not considered as a good profession. However, Quentin showed talent in painting by drawing a realistic looking fly. Means it was looking like a real fly. And on the latest panel, which artist was painting, the Quentin was enrolled as an artist in apprentice. Means he was given admission. He was asked to join as an apprentice. एक apprentice के रूप में उसको apprentice new learner. He was asked to join there, and he became a very famous painter. And he married his beloved or अपनी beloved. So that's was able to achieve that. What do the two stories about Chinese and the other Flanders illustrate? What is the example? What it tells about these two stories? These two stories, one about the Chinese and other about the Flanders. Flanders means German and all, and illustrate what each of the forms of art is trying to achieve. Whatever they want to achieve. One is the figurative, another one is the spiritual. And the Flander illustrate the perfect illusionist likeness. Perfect illusionist means they are one sort of cheating, rather you can say. You are unable to decide from the reality or the painting. And the likeness, while the Chinese illustrate the essence of inner life and spirit. They are talking Chinese, or you can say Asian painting. It is inner life and spirit. That's why the even the dragon eyes were not painted. See, dragon eyes were not painted by the painter. What was the difference between the Chinese emperor and the artist in the anecdote? Chinese emperor में और artist में जो anecdote small stories में जो बताया जाता है, what was the difference? The difference between Chinese emperor and the artist was while the emperor commissioned a painting and appreciated its outer appearance. He was only appreciating the outer appearance, whatever he was being, whatever he was observing on the panel, which panel for or the on the art. The artist revealed to him that the true meaning of his work. उसका जो true meaning था, he revealed that. The emperor may rule over the territory and he has conquered, but only artist knows the way within. It means the emperor, he can see only whatever the physically he could see, but artist know the way within it. It means the where the spirit lives, where the it is totally essence of life actually. Essence of life it can express artist. And what does the European painter want from the viewers? Means want from the viewers to borrow his eyes. Uski eyes means whatever the European painter they want. It is only a single viewpoint. Rather, they believe only on the physical rather than a good painting, real painting. Means it is illusionistic view. And a European paint wants the viewer to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly. Particular, only one point of view, one singular point. And he sight from the specific angle. His painting is very much realistic and expects the viewer to understand just looking at it. Means by looking at it only he wants that they should understand. The viewers should understand it. इसको जो समझ जाए. The Chinese painter want from the viewer with the plural rather than views he want. And the Chinese painter does not want the viewer to choose a single viewpoint. एक ही viewpoint नहीं चाहिए. His landscape is not a real one. You can enter it from any point. हर point से enter नहीं कर सकते आप. And then travel in it. The artist creates a path for the viewers eyes. Only viewers eye के लिए path create किया था. Travel up and down and then back in the leisurely moment. Leisurely means when they are free without any hurry. They can. Okay. So these were the today's question regarding the literature, your textual part. Okay, let's go for the yes. Okay, only 6 students are left. Let's start with the one. Okay, first I think Upendra Rana, raise your hand. Is the chapter clear to you? Upendra Rana, are you present? Upendra Rana, yes. Okay, the chapter is clear to you. By removing your hand, it will be the indication that there is no doubt. Is there any doubt? Yes. You can remove your hand if there is no doubt. If there is a doubt, I'll request the host to unmute you. Yes. Okay. Anyone else want to ask anything? Pars, Priya, yes. +1 arts.
No doubt.
Is there any doubt? Yes. Okay. Who is the, if you can speak, I think you all can speak. Okay. Let's see. Upendra Rana. Is there any doubt? Yes, Upendra Rana, try to speak.
No.
Okay, no doubt. Chapter.
No,
Okay, okay, Upendra, yes. Can you tell me who has ordered the painting by Wu Daoji? He created a painting. Who ordered this one? Yes, Upendra. What was the name of that painter? In Chinese literature, it is mentioned. Yes. What was the name of? Who was Wu Daoji? Upinder, can you tell something? Yes. Try to speak. Yeah, everybody is going. Yes. Once commerce. Once try to speak if you can. Yes. Raise your hand, please. Once raise your hand. Once Chauhan. Commerce. Raise your hand if lesson is clear to you. There is no doubt. If lesson is clear to you, you can raise your hand. आप अपना hand raise करो. Yes, Vans Chauhan. Parsh Juneja. How many? Yes. There are two Upendra Rana. How you are? Vans Chauhan, I think you are sleeping. Come on. Yes. Okay, Parsh Juneja. Raise your hand if lesson is clear to you. If lesson is clear, you raise your hand. If lesson is clear, you can raise your hand. Parsh Juneja, Commerce. Parsh Juneja, Commerce. I think you are not present. You raise your hand. Yes, sir. I think you can unmute them, sir. Everyone, just for 5 minutes. Unmute them. Sir, unmute everyone for 5 minutes. Let me talk to them. Hardly 3. Yes. 3 students left. Come on. Only 2. 1 sent. Nandini Rana. Yes. If lesson is clear to you, please raise your hand. Nandini. Nandini, if lesson, where you have gone? Once and Parsh Juneja. Parsh Juneja, I think there is no reaction from your side. Just you raise your hand if you are still there. Come on, Parsh Juneja.